The magnificent Gilles Villeneuve circuit on Montreal's St. Lawrence Seaway. The Canadians have a real passion for Formula One. They are here in huge numbers for race 8 of the World Championship. Hello there, welcome to the highlights of the Canadian Grand Prix. It really has been a couple of weeks to forget for Team McLaren. First, David Coulthard, lead driver, stalls on the grid in Monaco. Then they're embroiled in a battle with Jaguar for the services of technical chief Adrian Newey. So McLaren come here to Montreal intent on making up lost ground on Ferrari and encounter a qualifying session with a few twists. The wall says, "Bienvenue au Québec." Welcome to Quebec. Some drivers wish they'd never made the trip. First, Mika Häkkinen hits the concrete and punches a hole in his radiators. Then Rubens Barrichello smites the wall, to be followed by Nick Heidfeld with a much nastier crunch. They all take to their spare cars. Back at the front, Michael Schumacher looks invincible. He takes pole comfortably.
Michael Schumacher is going to improve on his time. His first 2 sections have been fantastic, and over the line he goes.
Trulli and Ralf Schumacher are pushed on by their powerful engines, a bonus on this track's long straights. As for Coulthard, well, he never gets in the groove. His last lap, though, puts him just third. So it's the brothers Schumacher on the front row. Coulthard and Trulli follow them on the run down to that tight turn 1. Barrichello and Panis 5th and 6th, followed by the Flying Finns on row 4, Raikkonen leading Häkkinen. Villeneuve and Montoya, well, they've had a major falling out this weekend. They're 9th and 10th. Of the rest, Ricardo Zonta is 12th. He's subbing for the injured Frentzen. Eddie Irvine back down in 15th, behind his teammate, with Jenson Button 20th. It's the Canadian Grand Prix then, with your commentators Martin Brundle and Murray Walker.
When all 5 go out, the Canadian Grand Prix will be go, 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 go! Michael Schumacher gets away, well, his brother gets away. Michael Schumacher on the inside at the left. Ralf tucks in behind him. Now, are they all going to get around? It looks to me as though we're okay so far. Yes, it's a good start for the Canadian Grand Prix. Great news, and in the lead, the Scarlet Ferrari of pole position holder Michael Schumacher with his brother Ralf in second place. Look at the way that Michael is already starting to pull away, and David Coulthard still in third position where he started, followed by Trulli, followed by Barrichello.
Crucial then for Michael Schumacher. Ralf made up the 4 or so metres he was behind, but could not go round the outside, and that is crucial. Michael can get away. We think Ralf's qualifying performance was exceptional. Probably put his car higher up the grid than it should have been, and it's Coulthard now that faces the problem of Ralf Schumacher in the early stages.
Yep. But Martin, Barrichello has gone ahead of Trulli. Rubens Barrichello in the Ferrari, who started 5th on the grid, has passed the yellow Jordan Honda of Jarno Trulli, and Trulli has now got Olivier Panis tucked up underneath his rear wing. Lap 1 of 69. Now this is the dreaded chicane.
And Verstappen making a move up the inside. You see it there. We just cut away, unfortunately. Verstappen then making a move on Raikkonen for 7th place. So another charge early on from the Dutchman.
0.3 of a second, the lead of Michael Schumacher at the end of that first lap. Look how closely they are packed together now. The first 4 round turn 2, and into the pits comes the Benetton of Fisichella. Look at that right front. He's hit something very hard indeed. That is the first retirement of this year's Canadian Grand Prix. Giancarlo Fisichella out, of the 2 Ferraris, the Williams and the McLaren of David Coulthard are 1, 2, 3, 4 together at the front, with Barrichello making the pace at the moment.
Yeah, Barrichello very fast and already harrying Coulthard. Be interesting to see the fuel loads, but Barrichello then appearing. He had a bad grid slot, as we know. Maybe he's running a bit lighter to try to make up in the early stages, and that's worked out well so far, already clearing Trulli, as you point out. So Schumacher 0.3 ahead at the end of the first lap, closely followed by then a Jaguar and
Eddie Irvine out, and one of the Saubers didn't see which one. It's Heidfeld, Nick Heidfeld. They were together on the previous lap. They were 11th and 12th. Maybe Heidfeld was trying to get past Eddie Irvine, I don't know, but whatever, they are both out of the race, so that's 3 cars out. Heidfeld, Irvine and the previous retiree that's what happened to Fisichella. He was hit, he bumped into his teammate, Jenson Button, as Bernoldi went through on the inside of the chicane and straight down the pit lane. It couldn't have happened in a better place or a worse place as far as Fisichella's concerned.
And look at Barrichello shaping up for a nice slipstream on Coulthard. Now he has the right position too, so Barrichello probably with a bit less fuel, making it work beautifully and quite easily then past the McLaren in the early stages. Barrichello on the move.
Yeah, don't start getting depressed, you McLaren fans, because it could well be that Rubens Barrichello is on a light fuel load and that David Coulthard is on a heavier fuel load, and we know that the McLaren is extremely fuel efficient. They demonstrated that at Monaco, and David Coulthard could well be just held up momentarily, just losing a tenth of a second here or there because he's in a heavier car. But whatever, Barrichello is certainly searing through the field. He's closing right up now on Ralph.
And that was a replay then. It looked like Irvine tagged the back of Heidfeld as they were in turn 8, and the pair of them straight into retirement. So Barrichello closing quickly in then on Ralf Schumacher.
Fastest lap of the race, Ralf Schumacher. He's just gone round in 1 minute 20.7, and that compares with the lap record. It's 1.7 seconds off the lap record held by Mika Hakkinen last year. And Schumacher, Ralf, is closing a little on his brother, but it looks to me as though Michael's got things well under control. So it is Michael Schumacher, Ralf Schumacher, Barrichello, Coulthard, Trulli is 5th, Panis is 6th, Verstappen is 7th. Excellent, that's excellent. And Kimi Raikkonen is 8th.
Bits of Benetton bodywork flapping around as they break into the final corner. That can easily puncture your tyres. But Barrichello then a new fastest lap by a long way, a 1:19.9, and Michael's sitting pretty. He's got his brother and he's got his teammate between himself and his main championship contender, David Coulthard. And here we see the move. Barrichello with track position, greater straight line speed, having pulled nicely out of the slipstream of that McLaren and made it stick well.
And where is Mika Hakkinen, who started 8th? He is 10th. He's lost 2 places. He's been repassed by Ricardo Zonta. Kimi Raikkonen, who started alongside and slightly ahead of him on the grid, is still in front. And it's still Michael Schumacher, Ralf Schumacher, and Barrichello pushing. The young Brazilian who's driven for Stewart, who's driven for Jordan, of course, 2 pole positions in his career and 1 win. And James Allen has got news.
Yeah, that was expected, I think, by the McLaren team. They believed that Rubens Barrichello was going to start this race on a 2-stop fuel strategy. They think he's going to come in for his first stop around about lap 26. He's carrying about 30 kilos less fuel, which is about 9/10 of a second a lap around here. Advantage over the one-stopper cars, which are the ones in front of him and David Coulthard. Interestingly, just before the off, guys, I saw Ron Dennis and Pat Fry working on Coulthard's car, looking very concerned. They went up onto the pit wall to look at Coulthard's car as it went for the start. There's something, Martin saw something being thrown out, but there was a little concern there. We'll try and follow that up.
He threw something out, looked like a piece of tape or something from inside the cockpit, maybe a piece of padding. Hopefully shouldn't really affect his race. The problem for Barrichello is he needs to clear that Williams. If he's on a light fuel load, we're pretty sure that he is, and to make that pay off this afternoon, he needs to clear that Williams very quickly, because I'm sure his teammate will then let him through. Michael Schumacher will let him through if he's on a different strategy.
And you're looking at Trulli, who is 5th, Panis, who is 6th, and Verstappen, I'm sure, is on a light fuel load in the Arrows. He's done that in the past. It looks to me as though he's doing it again. He's in 7th place.
And that's Montoya getting extremely close to the back of Mika Hakkinen, 10th and 11th. Hakkinen I saw in the background getting very leery into turn 3 on the first lap of the race. That's why he slipped back down to 10th.
Barrichello spins it. Sorry, Martin. Barrichello spins out as he tries to get past Ralf Schumacher. He's kept the engine running and through stream. That's Verstappen, who's just gone through. And behind him, Raikkonen and Zonta. It's a bad blow for Rubens Barrichello.
Curious how you can spin a car these days in a traction zone with traction control, Murray. Very unusual. I'll need to see a replay of that, because I was looking at the data computer up here, but maybe Barrichello clipped a curb or something. But surprising that he can. I haven't seen a car spin there for years, actually, on the way out of that corner, especially with traction control. Here we go then. Look, he comes off the inside of the curb. Yeah, just lights the rear wheels up. Yeah. So something awry there, I think, with the electronics.
Well, he's down to 14th place now behind Enrique Bernoldi. the man who caused all the controversy at Monaco by staying ahead of David Coulthard.
10-second stop-go penalty for car number 8, jump start, and I believe that is Jenson Button.
Jenson Button into the pit lane comes Jenson Button now for his 10-second penalty. As one of the Minardis, it looks to me like Fernando Alonso, who was an excellent 18th. Yes, it is Alonso pulling out to retire. Alonso is out, Heidfeld is out, Irvine is out, Fisichella is out. The brothers Schumacher exit the chicane and go through and complete their 15th lap into lap 16, and the gap between them, half a second. That was the gap between them on the front row of the grid after qualifying. It's mighty close.
Well, these two brothers were in a class of their own, in my view, in qualifying yesterday, and that's certainly the case then in the race today. They've got the cars working very well, but look, what a menace Ralph is going to be for the rest of the afternoon. I don't think Michael's going to easily pull away from that Williams, and Ralph looking very secure. Michael will remember the mistake he made here and clouting the wall, taking himself out of the race, and he won't be wanting to do that. He could well do without this pressure from his little brother.
Look at this battle behind. Zonta in the yellow car is 8th. Then there's Mika Häkkinen, Montoya and Barrichello. There's the Scarlet Ferrari of Barrichello having a look at Montoya. And the chap who's holding them all up in comparative terms is Kimi Räikkönen in the Sauber with the yellow mirrors. It's Räikkönen, Zonta, Häkkinen, Montoya, Barrichello, all virtually nose to tail, because Räikkönen is going slower than the rest of them behind him can ideally go. I've said it's in again comes Jenson Button. His teammate Fisichella was the first retirement after he had lost virtually his left.
Two cars in the wall.
It's a Ferrari. It's Barrichello. Sorry, Martin. Rubens Barrichello out of the race. Now, debris on the track. Who was the other car? You can...
I think there'll have to be a pace car situation there. You've got two cars in the same place, and we think it's Montoya, of course, so they were nose to tail. Maybe Montoya went off and took Barrichello with him, and the safety car is out. That's the only thing they can do. Safety car deployed then. That's a breath of fresh air for a few people, because that is a very closed area. You can see for yourself, trees either side of the racetrack. It's very difficult to clear the cars from there. It's the exit of turn 4, just before that nasty turn 5 where Panis smashed up his legs. Safety car then picking up the leaders, and the pack will close.
Beautiful timing from the point of view of the safety car as it came out of the pit lane. Michael Schumacher and brother Ralph closed up behind it. Now we're on the lap 21 out of 69, and it's going to be even closer when the safety car pulls in.
So yes, as you say, at the end of 21. Let's see how many laps, and look, yes, Montoya goes off, as I thought. Barrichello crashing, trying to avoid him, and that's the second race in succession where Montoya's made an unforced error. Barrichello really swerving to try to miss the stranded Williams, and just putting himself straight in the wall. But the smart drivers will now turn the mixture down to lean, cruise round in top gear, and for every 2 laps under the safety car, they can normally save virtually a lap of fuel, and that'll enable them to go further before that first crucial pit stop. So the thinking men should be getting that done right now. In this lap then for the safety car, the race will restart at the end of this lap, and there we see them going through turn 4. That's where the wreckage was of the two cars. So a half a lap to go then. James is down in the pits.
Yeah, well, David Coulthard seriously considered a pit stop during that safety car period. There's something broken in the front end of his car. They've been studying the front of the spare car. I think it might be the mounting point of a barge board or something like that, but it's not something massively serious, because it's obviously a very finely balanced decision whether to pit or not. Coulthard obviously reluctant to make the stop. The team was all ready for him, and of course he's made back the 13 seconds he'd lost on the leader.
Yeah, certainly not conducive to him pushing, though. Pedro de la Rosa has benefited from the accident between Barrichello and Montoya. He's moved up to 10th position behind Mika Häkkinen.
You can see Michael Schumacher keeps smoking his front tyres. He's trying to warm his brakes up and his tyres, but going at it a little bit too hard, and he wants to be careful he doesn't create some nasty flat spots there. It gives you a vibration, and at a couple of 100 miles an hour, you can't see where you're going because your eyeballs are vibrating too. But all the cars then, all the drivers trying to generate some heat in the brakes, in the tyres, ready to restart at the end of this next straight.
Still no scheduled fuel stop. Well, hello, what's that bit of debris on the track? Has it been spotted by the marshals? Where is it? Well, it is somewhere round about turn 5. I was saying, still no scheduled fuel stops. I was expecting them round about lap 26, and this is lap 23. But of course, they will be extended now.
Michael then has got the jump on Ralph. Michael caught them sleeping a little bit there, and he is away, and he's opened up a small gap. Coulthard then managing to haul in that 12-second deficit, courtesy of the safety car. And this is slow puncture territory we're in here, because a lot of debris on the track. 2 Benettons running into each other. That's Verstappen out of 6th place.
Was 6th, if you remember, and as I expected, he's on a 2-stop strategy. Here is the order after the safety car has returned, and you can see they're getting pretty spread out already. Ralf Schumacher 2.5 seconds behind his brother and 1.5 seconds ahead of David Coulthard. You can see how close Trulli is behind him, and Panis is behind Trulli, and that's down to 5th position. Kimi Räikkönen is 1.5 seconds behind Panis, still in the points, 6th position. Zonta is 7th, Häkkinen is 8th, De La Rosa in the Jaguar is 9th, Jack Villeneuve is 10th. Off goes Luciano Berti in the Prost, well down in the field. He's 12th out of the 14 runners that are still going round out of the 22 who started. And you can see David Coulthard now has got Jarno Trulli right on his gearbox. Just as Ralph is challenging Michael, Trulli is challenging Coulthard for 3rd place.
Yeah, Coulthard looking well there as well, turning oversteer everywhere, struggling to get the back end of that car in. I don't know when he's due in for a set of tyres. They'll be pretty relieved that maybe they'll even bring that forward, because Coulthard appears to have no confidence in the back of the car.
Yeah, he is the only McLaren in the points. Mika Häkkinen still making no progress. Ricardo Zonta is just 0.3 of a second in front of him in the Jordan, driving a very fine race, and Mika Häkkinen can do nothing about it. Jacques Villeneuve is 0.9 of a second behind Häkkinen in 9th position, and Jean Alesi is 2.7 seconds further back in 10th place in the Prost. Jos Verstappen's been in, and we can expect him to move up through the field when the others come in.
Villeneuve in pit straight with a problem, and that's a long way from home, of course. It's an entire lap. Now, he has to be so careful, and he knows, he has a look. It's such a dangerous place to cross the end of the pit lane. If you come around the other side of the wall, you can have an enormous accident. They're already doing 150, 160 kilometres, 100 odd miles an hour. And what are we going to see here? We're going to see nothing. We're going to see Villeneuve just beginning to falter and sensibly getting out of Alesi's way.
Yeah, really, this is a jinx circuit as far as poor Jacques is concerned. Oh, and Ralf Schumacher right alongside Michael, who moves across quite fairly. But now the battle is really on. This is lap 35, and Ralf is giving his brother a very, very hard time. Michael under the most gigantic pressure, but he's got a clear track in front of him. He knows who's behind him. He knows it's his brother, and he's said time and time again, I love racing with Ralf because we trust each other. Poor Jacques walks in. This is, I think, the 5th year in succession that he's had something dramatic happen to him at Canada.
We think it's transmission, and look, this is how far alongside Ralph got coming down into the last corner, and not quite far enough in his view to make it stick. So that's where Ralph's going to make the move if and when he makes it. But let's remember, Michael's trying to win a world championship, Ralph's trying to win another race.
Replay here.
I think it's Häkkinen who's going to be taking Räikkönen. So Häkkinen then, and Panis pits at the end of this lap. That's freed Mika Häkkinen. He's in 5th place. He's just done his fastest lap of the race. somewhere near the leader's pace, a 19.0. So Häkkinen then does have a fast car underneath him, and for the first time this race, a clear track ahead of him. I think they should be bringing Coulthard in. He's losing too much time, whatever his problem is out there. If it's tyres, he should be in now, because Trulli, who he was racing with, is out there lapping faster behind him because he's made his stop. But Trulli is going to slingshot past Coulthard, so is Häkkinen. So Coulthard then needs to keep his championship alive, hopes alive this afternoon. I think he needs to pit early. Häkkinen now, an 18.2. That is just about the fastest lap of the race. Not quite though, is it, Murray?
No, remember what I said about Jos Verstappen stopping early and he would recover? Well, he has recovered. He is now up into 5th position. Jos Verstappen in the orange arrows is up into 5th position, and here is Ralf Schumacher's opportunity again. Now this time he might make it stick. No, he won't, because Michael takes the racing line and brother Ralf just backs off that modicum to say, OK, Michael, I'll stay here and I will be back.
But it's very dirty up the inside there, Murray. It's so easy to go in there deep and then lock a wheel and bounce across those concrete blocks or across the grasscrete itself, and we can see the McLaren mechanics as Häkkinen then shaping up to pass Coulthard, as Coulthard does pit early. I think that is a smart move, or probably earlier than he could have, judging by how far these McLarens have gone earlier in the season. They saved fuel, of course, during the safety car period. James Allen.
I don't think it's tyres that's the problem. I think it's the front barge board that's flapping. There's a lot of detritus as well, debris in the radiators. The temperatures have been high, obviously. But slight delay as they get the fuel in, and he's away safely. But Coulthard, a smart stop. He was 25 seconds ahead of Trulli. It'll be touch and go as to whether he rejoins in front of him, but I think he has.
Well, he's just got ahead of... Oh, and look at this. Bertie moves over and lets the leaders through. Häkkinen is up into 3rd place, having gone as far as 9th for a very long time. Verstappen is up to 4th. David Coulthard is 5th. Schumacher, Ralf is having yet another look at exactly the same place, and again he backs off. Surely this can't go on much longer.
But Ralf knows if he snatches a break up the inside of his brother, he'll just career into the side of him or across the grasscrete, and he'll get a stop and go penalty if he makes a place by shortcutting the chicane.
Here is Mika Häkkinen alone on the track. Fastest lap, 1:18.1. This is showing exactly what you said, Martin. He's on his own now. He's got a clear track. He is really going for it. He's reducing the gap between himself and the leaders. I don't know if a superior fuel strategy or better fuel economy is going to help him, but if it is, he needs all the help he can get at the present moment.
Yeah, that's despite having a fuel flap open. Of course, the pits are sometimes left-handed, sometimes right-handed. There's 2 fuel flaps on a Formula 1 car, and they only use 1 per weekend. The other one they're not using this weekend is up on Häkkinen's car. Won't help the aerodynamics much. But, of course, Ferrari must be waiting for Michael. He will go straight down the pit lane.
And Ralf Schumacher takes the lead in the Canadian Grand Prix, and he knows now that he's got to go as fast as he possibly can to build up a gap with a clear track in front of him, and hope that when he comes in for his fuel stop, he will be able to exit the pit lane in front of his brother Michael. James.
60 kilos of fuel have to go into this car, as well as the 4 tyres. Anything more than 9 seconds stationary is a problem for Ferrari and could hand the race to Williams. Good stop, 8.4. Williams, the pressure is on you now, guys.
Yeah, indeed it is, and Michael Schumacher regains the track before Mika Häkkinen goes through in 3rd position. Now that is good, as very, very good as far as Michael Schumacher is concerned, because he now has got a clear track in front of him like his brother. But the race, this is the crucial point of the whole race. 1 fuel stop for Michael Schumacher in the Ferrari and Ralf Schumacher in the Williams BMW. Mika Häkkinen has still got to come in.
And look at this lap that Ralf is on, Murray. Look at the computer data in front of us. Ralf is on a stunning lap. So if he's got a couple more laps of fuel available to him, he could well leapfrog his teammates. Good news for Michael that he's able to have some clear traffic. And look, Ralf goes round again. He's had to pass a Jordan during that lap. Did that help him or hinder him over the line? And it's 1 minute 17.5. So he obviously cleared the Jordan down the straight. and that kind of pace will get him in front of the Ferrari.
Yeah, Ralph knows exactly what the score is. He is reacting magnificently to the challenge that's been thrown down to him by his brother and the Ferrari team. And it's showing too that the BMW engine appears to be more fuel efficient than the Ferrari engine. I was talking to Ross Brawn, the Ferrari boss, yesterday, and I said, how's the fuel efficiency? And he said, we are struggling a bit.
Yeah, Michael then full 4 seconds slower. That was his out lap. And it was Ralph's hot lap, of course, that I'm comparing there. So Michael Schumacher definitely under pressure at this stage of the race.
And this is lap 48 out of 69, 21 to go. In comes Jos Verstappen again. Lap 48. This will be a second fuel stop. Let's just check. Yes, they're all ready for him. Up goes the whole car. It's a rather slow stop. I tell a lie, it's a good one. 8.4 seconds, and Jos Verstappen lights up the rear Bridgestones up to the maximum speed. I'm looking at the pit lane now to see whether there's any sign of the Williams people out there, but they are not. It looks to me as though Ralph is going through. Yes, indeed he is. He is now into his 49th lap. And this is a great demonstration of how good that BMW engine is, not only in terms of power, it's alleged to have more than any other engine in the Formula One teams, but in terms of fuel efficiency as well. Ralf Schumacher then goes round turn 4 into turn 5, and into the pit lane comes Mika Häkkinen. Fuel filler open.
And Häkkinen will rejoin in third place. He has cleared easily past Coulthard, who's still not lapping particularly quickly, David Coulthard. So Mika Häkkinen then will pick up in third. Will McLaren play team orders this afternoon?
Well, it's certainly going to benefit David Coulthard if they can, because it would make the difference of 1 extra point for the Scotsman if he got up to and then got past Mika Häkkinen, who's on a potential 4 World Championship points for third place at the present moment on lap 50.
Another new lap record, 1:17.2. He has easily done enough to leapfrog the Ferrari of his brother Michael, but he now, I'm sure, looking at in the pit lane, confirmed Williams will stop. There you see it for yourself. So Ralph then, the end of this long straight, will just shoot down the pit lane. He'll lose a bit of time, will he? No, he's cleared that car nicely, so no in-lap problems for Ralph. Surely he will come out in the lead. Watch the pit lane looming up now. Get the speed off before the speed zone now, and down he goes. It will be a reasonable run. Somewhere in the middle of the lane are the Williams team, and looks so slow, Murray, doesn't it?
Yeah, but this is the crucial point of the whole race. If they do a nice clean stop, and the Williams team are very experienced at this, on go the new Michelin tyres. The wheel nuts are tied up now. Where is Michael Schumacher? Ralf Schumacher comes out of the pit lane now, and there is Michael in the background. Ralf Schumacher rejoins the circuit, and a roar of approval from the crowd. They can tell a real fight when they see one, and Ralf Schumacher looks, I'm going to be very cautious in what I say now, looks as though he is on the way to a second brilliant victory of the year, having won the San Marino Grand Prix at Imola. Because he has come, he stayed out, he put up 4 successive lap records to increase the gap between himself and his brother Michael, and Michael Schumacher is now 6.5 seconds behind his brother with 18.18 laps to go.
So Ralf Schumacher then on his out lap. Michael will close him down a bit on this lap as he builds up full operating temperature on the brakes and tyres once more. We saw Ralph taking a bit of time to get up to speed after the pace car situation with those harder Michelins, which are working so beautifully this afternoon. It's harder to chase. It's easier to chase rather than be chased. Can Michael turn the table? So Ralf Schumacher leads Michael Schumacher. Häkkinen stopped and maintained his third place ahead of Coulthard, who still has no pace despite the tyre stop. Some kind of drama going on with Coulthard, we don't know what. Della Rosa is 5th. I believe he will stop again yet. Jarno Trulli back in 6th place.
into the closing stages of the Canadian Grand Prix. Lap 55 out of 69. And Ralf Schumacher has not only pegged the lead over his brother Michael, he has increased it to 7.7 seconds with a lap of 1 minute 18.4. Mika Häkkinen is still in third position ahead of David Coulthard, who is closing on his teammate at the rate of about 0.3 of a second. Jarno Trulli in the Jordan is fifth. Kimi Raikkonen is in sixth place.
And Raikkonen has this man Alesi chasing him down for that final crucial World Championship point. But let me just remind you how Ralf Schumacher got ahead. He put in a series of stunning 1 minute 17, setting a new lap record finally of 17.2, taking a best part of a second a lap out of his brother through that stage of the race. Just before his pit stop, they had more fuel on board. Häkkinen cleared, Coulthard in the pits, unscheduled stop. Terminal problem for David Coulthard.
Yeah, that is an unscheduled stop and a final stop too. This is going to be the first race of the year in which David Coulthard has not scored points. James.
It's burst flame as he comes down, and the engine, of course, you can see for yourself, has blown up, but he kept it going all the way down the pit lane. I'm looking for trails of oil, enormous amounts of smoke.
Mighty, mighty tough on David Coulthard, but it's a very rare situation that a Grand Prix driver will go through all 16 or 17 races of the year without a retirement. And that means to say that if Michael Schumacher can just finish this race second or first, and he's second at the moment, he's going massively to increase his already substantial lead over David Coulthard. And you're looking at double world champion Mika Häkkinen in the only McLaren still in the race. Third position, potential 4 world championship points to double his total so far. P1, place 1 is the board that Ralf Schumacher sees as he rockets past the garages and into another lap. This is his third lap. They're resting in the Williams garage now. There's nothing they can do. Ralf Schumacher is consistently increasing his lead over his brother. It's now nearly 16 seconds. Mika Häkkinen in third place is not catching Michael Schumacher. Jarno Trulli, who is fourth, is not catching Mika Häkkinen. But Kimi Raikkonen and Jean Alesi, as they are forcing each other, are closing up on Jarno Trulli. The gap is only about 5 seconds between the Sauber fifth and the Jordan fourth.
Yeah, Alesi putting pressure on Raikkonen, fifth place man Raikkonen, sixth place man Alesi, and I'd imagine Kimi Raikkonen's another man with a soggy brake pedal. We've seen clouds of black smoke pouring off of his Sauber under braking since virtually the beginning of the race. You start to get a very long pedal towards the end, which does not inspire confidence when you're trying to lose something like 150 miles an hour in 100 meters or so. And Raikkonen then, really the only race left on the racetrack is Raikkonen fifth, Alesi sixth, 1.7 seconds apart. The lap before, now just 0.9 of a second apart. You're not watching it. That's Häkkinen, of course, in an easy third place. 28 seconds behind Schumacher, 27 seconds ahead of Raikkonen.
So what does this mean in terms of the World Championship drivers and constructors? It means that Michael Schumacher on 6 World Championship points, as you look at Raikkonen closing up on the Jordan. It means that Michael Schumacher, going past the Jordan, going past Jarno Trulli and up into fourth position. So here's Jarno Trulli at the chicane, taking a wider line. Kimi Raikkonen tucks it in tight and rockets past the Jordan to increase his position, prove his position up into fourth place. Terrific.
Trulli's got a brake problem, I believe. Trulli then very slow in the last sector of the last lap and the first sector, and there he is cruising. Jarno Trulli, I believe, probably running out of brakes.
As Frentzen did in the Jordan, as I was talking about, not this year, previous year. So a bit of a problem for the Jordan team there, and we're on lap 64 out of 69 as Jos Verstappen is coming up now. Look at the arrows in the background. He is currently in, now where is he in? He's in 7th, but he's going to move up into the points. When he goes past Jarno Trulli, Jos Verstappen in the arrows, and he does it now, is back in the points where he was earlier in the race. He is on, I remind you, a 2-stop strategy. He has stopped twice. He's got his reward. He's only got 4 laps to go after this one.
I hope his left front brake, Verstappen's left front brake will stay the course, because that'll be a very well-earned World Championship point there for Verstappen. Running strong in the early stages, albeit on a little bit less fuel load, but Verstappen then up into a points position. But we know he must be struggling with brakes. And truly then, in the pit lane, we'll have to wait for confirmation of his problems, and the engine seems fine. As I say, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a shortage of brakes. New braking system on that car this weekend.
Oh, that's Verstappen. That's Verstappen out of the race. It's exactly what you said was going to happen.
Right, so you could see it coming. That's going to be a brake failure, and it always goes when you most need them.
Well, Martin, that means that Jaguar are now on a potential World Championship point. The first one in the team for Pedro de la Rosa. Eddie Irvine, of course, finished in third place at Monaco, and there is the spin that took Jos Verstappen, probably due to a brake failure, out of the race, and promoted Pedro de la Rosa to 6th position in the Jaguar for 1 World Championship point.
Lacey then is up to 4th. 5th, sorry. Kimi Raikkonen takes that 4th place position at the moment, and as you said, Murray, de la Rosa, now you can see him, is in 6th place. So another point for Jaguar, and if he can get over the line, and Ralf Schumacher then commencing what must be his final tour.
Yeah, it will only be his 3rd finish of the year 2001, but 2 of those finishes, assuming he does the last 2.5 miles, which he's got now, are going to have been victories. And it looks as though Williams have beaten the reliability problems, because, as I said earlier on, the fact that Montoya is out of the race was nothing to do with the car. It was to do with a mistake that he made. It's great to see another constructor at the top. No discredit to Ferrari, no discredit to McLaren. They've both done over the years, and are continuing to do, an absolutely superlative job. But not many people like to see the same 2 teams winning all the time. And we're getting some real competition in Formula One now, back from Sir Frank Williams' team that has done so much in the past, had great names like Keke Rosberg, Nelson Piquet, Nigel Mansell, Damon Hill succeeding. And it looks now as though Ralf Schumacher is going to join that illustrious Hall of Fame as he enters that long straight for the last time. Comes down to the chicane, 2nd gear, 70 miles an hour on the apex from 205 miles an hour to exit it, and Ralf Schumacher wins the Canadian Grand Prix for Williams, for BMW, for Michelin, and of course for himself. A superb win, and another brilliant drive, not only by Ralf but by his brother. Brothers are going to finish 1st and 2nd here at Canada. Still waiting for Michael. Here he is, 6 World Championship points, more in this race than David Coulthard. He now leads the championship by 18 World Championship points. Mika Häkkinen finishes in 3rd place, having started 8th and dropped as low as 9th.
Well, the problem was Ralf in the Williams was faster, and that mid-sector, we could see that as soon as he could catch Michael easily, he couldn't pass him. So Raikkonen comes over the line in 4th. Finn's 3rd and 4th. Jean Alesi with a strong 2 points for a very relieved Prost team. And well, De La Rosa won't, he's already in 6th. He's a lap down, so De La Rosa will not finish the Grand Prix in its full distance, and he then gets the final World Championship point.
Oh, that's nice. Brotherly love, and I mean that. Well done, Ralf. Sorry, Michael, but one of us had to win, and I thought it might as well be me. Oh, there's a lovely picture, the face of Sir Frank Williams, who has seen his team victorious again, and James Allen has news for us.
Yes, I'm with Frank Williams, actually. Frank, we've just been watching that brotherly embrace between your driver, Ralf, and Michael Schumacher. Ralf won this time. I guess we're going to see an image like that plenty in the next few years, aren't we?
We intend to do that and beat him a bit more often than we have done in the past. But Ralf is clearly getting better and better, and our car's good, and the BMW engine, just superb performance.
You came here this weekend intending to win the race. Everything was geared up towards race day, wasn't it?
Well, the press said we were going to win the race, but we just always view that from a distance, and they seem to know more than we do about the car. But I mean, the car clearly isn't very competitive. Ralph said on the radio on the slowing down that was just fantastic. It was very quick on the straight too, thankfully. And the tyres, I think one tyre was definitely better than the other tyre here today.
Well done, Frank. Thanks very much.
John Alesi doing some donuts then down at the hairpin. Not very elegant ones, as we said. John, he didn't really get it going round and round, but gets out and believe has just thrown his crash helmet into the crowd. He's so happy with 2 World Championship points.
It is all coming together magnificently at the end of race 8 in this 17 race series.
And you're back with us in Montreal, where Ralf Schumacher has driven brilliantly in a Williams to win the Canadian Grand Prix, for once putting elder brother Michael firmly in the shade.
I mean, we never had any serious go-kart competition, honestly. We had some Winter Cup races which are not really serious, and the conditions are not straightforward. We are 6.5 years apart, so most likely that's the first real experience we both had together where he beat me the other way around.
Well done, Ralph. A great victory, and against a pretty tough opponent too.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great race, but I think today we were simply the stronger team and we had the better strategy, and that's why I knew from the beginning on that they couldn't win it against us if anything went well. So I just tried a couple of times to attack him and saw that it was not possible to overtake him, so I backed off and waited for my time.
I have achieved a lot already in Formula One. From my point of view, it is very easy to be relaxed. Whenever my brother does well, whenever he beats me, I'm quite happy if at least there's a Schumacher up front, whichever.
That was our target, to be third, basically. You know, starting 8th position, and we knew if the tactics go like we wanted to go, and the speed of the car it is what it should be, I should finish third. So it worked out 100%.
Must be nice to be back up there. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, fantastic. Only problem is you get covered by champagne. That's the only negative thing.
Yeah, we had a suspension problem on the lap going to the grid, which I was able to explain to the team because I found a loose part on the car, and they gave me the option of whether I wanted to come in or not, and I felt that I wanted to see how the car was performing. And although it wasn't quick, it still seemed to me like it was predictable. And I just wanted to try and hold in there and at least pick up a couple of points. But obviously the engine problem late in the race put paid to that.
It was an engine problem, was it? Because the team didn't seem to be quite sure at first.
Lots of smoke out the back of the car. I don't think there's any doubt. No, that was definitely an engine problem at the end. You know, I guess something could have caused it. But, you know, at the end of the day, it stopped making noises out the back. And my Fred Flintstone car wasn't set up, so I couldn't get my feet out to paddle on the floor.
So Ralf, number 1 in the Schumacher household. Still 6 more points for Michael. Häkkänen's best result of the year. The impressive Raikkonen is 4th. Alesi, a delighted 5th for Prost. De La Rosa opening his Jaguar account. Michael Schumacher with an 18-point lead over David Coulthard going into the second half of the season. That's Coulthard's first blank. Ralf Schumacher within 2 points of Barrichello, level pegging Heidfeld and Häkkinen. And Ferrari, a massive 34 points clear now of McLaren in the Constructors. Williams clearly best of the rest. Sauber above Jordan and BAR. OK, Mark Blundell, there was that real battle between the Schumachers. Did you ever get the impression that Ralf was going to overtake Michael?
Not for me. I think Ralf was just playing with him. I think the situation really showed here. Ralf comes down the inside of Michael, shows his nose, lets him know he's there, but doesn't really put himself at risk or put Michael at risk at any one point. And time again we saw it during the race. Again, sets him up, slipstreams, slips down the inside, gets right down by the beginning of his side pod, lets him know he's there again, just backs off and takes it easy. He knew he had the performance in his car. He knew it was only going to be a matter of time before Michael had to go in, and then stunning laps he put in and broke the mould.
Absolutely, Tony. He did race away, didn't he? 3 or 4 very, very quick laps when Michael did pit, but it all boiled down to some very important works from the William pit crew.
Yeah, Carl Gaydon, the chief mechanic, and his crew, superb job. Ralph stayed out there for those 5 laps. And